I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice, people that don't have a platform to talk and have their voices heard and affect change. One of my roommates was moving out of a house in college, and because we were the only black people in that neighborhood, the cops got called and all of us had guns drawn on us. You can become a cop in 6 months and don't have to have the same amount of training as a cosmetologist. That's insane. Someone that's holding a curling iron has more education and more training than people that have a gun and are going out on the street to protect it.
So my daughter knows I love Colin Kaepernick. I put her on to who Colin Kaepernick was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and she knows I love him to pieces. And so she asked me, she says, Mom, you know, what's going on with him? And I haven't done a story on him because I wanted to see what everybody else thought first before I spoke specifically about someone I actually love. Okay, so I'm telling my daughter that he didn't want to stand up for the national anthem because he feels like he shouldn't be all hip hip hooray about a country who does so many negative things to black people. And she's like, wait a minute, Colin Kaepernick is black? And I'm like, yeah, he's mixed race, but it's a shame that a lot of people don't feel like certain people are black enough. You know, like a lot of people get mad at me when I say that Mariah Carey to me has never been black. And people are like, why would you say that about her? I'm like, because I just don't feel like that she's a black person. Like, she always came out with this persona as if she was white from the very beginning. Her first husband was a white guy. All of her marriage pictures, there was a whole bunch of white people. I mean, from the first time I saw her, she's always passed off as white. So I don't feel like you should use white when it's convenient for you, and you should use black when it's convenient for you. So when I'm dealing with people who don't look black enough to me or don't act black enough to me, I don't necessarily consider them black. So a lot of people get mad at me about that and call me ignorant for it, but guess what? I really don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm black. So to me, it's like I'm a mixed race person here. I'm multiracial, right? A lot of people be like, are you biracial? I'm multiracial. And of course, I don't want to sit here and, you know, try to pretend like I'm any better than anybody else because of the color of my skin. But as an African American, sometimes I feel like some people who are mixed race who can pass off as either race tend to use, you know, white when it's convenient for them or black when it's convenient for them. And to me, Colin Kaepernick can pass off as a pretty much a white guy when he has his hair cut low. Now, when he grows his hair, like when he grows that big beard and that big bushy hair like he's been doing recently, he could kind of pass off as a little bit mixed, but still the rest of the world will continue to classify him on a white level. It's almost like, what's the guy that's dating Sierra right now? The dude, Russell, is he black? Like, what color is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is he? But anyway, so Rodney Harrison has apologized for criticizing Kaepernick about his refusal to stand for the national anthem while suggesting that the quarterback isn't black and doesn't understand racism. And Rodney Harrison is a black man. Even though he's a little fair-skinned, he would be classified to me as a black man. He just looks like a black man. So Ronnie Harrison is also a former NFL player, and he's an NBC analyst now. And he had to apologize on Twitter. In an interview with iHeartRadio, Harrison said that Kaepernick has the right to stand for what he believes, but he has to understand there might be consequences and might be backlash to what he's saying. He says, I'll tell you this, I'm a black man, and Colin Kaepernick, he's not black.
I think it's a little bit of both, and I think it all kind of comes down to, you know, it's kind of not what you say, it's kind of how you say it and how you do certain things. And you know, the one thing I say, you know, obviously he has a right to stand up for what he believes, but he has to understand there are consequences and might be backlash to what he's saying. And you know, a lot of people, you know, are criticizing him and stuff like that. I think his heart is in the right place. I just think that he's going about it the wrong way. And if he really wants to make change, sitting his butt down on the bench, that's not going to change. That's going to get people very upset. And he has to understand that, you know, if you think you're sitting against the national anthem, well, a lot of people really served, before his time, now trying to give him the freedoms and the liberties and the opportunities that he has to be able to make the money that he has, the ability to speak and have a voice, and I'll tell you this, I'm a black man, and, Colin Kaepernick, he's not black, okay? He cannot understand what I face and what other young black men and black people face, or people of color face on an every single basis. When you walk in the grocery store, when you walk in, and you might have $2,000 or $3,000 in your pocket, and you go up into a Foot Locker and they're looking at you like you're about to steal something, maybe I don't think he faces those type of things that we face on a daily basis. If he really wants to make change, maybe what he needs to do is maybe, write a check out of that $11 million salary that he's making, and maybe, donate it toward a cause or something like that for people that are fighting for injustices against people of color. That's how you make change, and I'm not just saying just writing a check, but just sitting against the national anthem. You're offending a lot of people that sacrificed and died, man, basically for the freedoms that we have right now.
I don't think he faces those types of things that we face on a daily basis. And I agree, this is the same thing that I was basically just saying about Mariah Carey. You think people were giving Mariah Carey this type of issue? Even if she wasn't famous, they wouldn't give her that issue simply off of the color of their skin. It's because she looks whiter than she does blacker. She acts whiter than she does blacker. And I don't like when people say there's no such thing as acting black, because it pretty much is. Come on, guys. Let's stop it here. Let's stop the bullshit here, okay? Kaepernick is the biological child of a white mother, and he has a black father and was adopted and raised by white parents. So he probably acts like a white boy, but he talks about on his Twitter all of the time civil rights issues, and he's in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. So after he said what he said on this radio show, Rodney Harrison, he had to apologize on Twitter. I mean, he didn't have to, but he did. That's very big of him. He said, "I never intended to offend anyone. I was trying to speak about my experiences as an African American. I apologize to anyone that I offended. Wasn't meant to be hurtful to anyone. Last point, I want people to know I never even knew he was mixed. I should not have called Colin Kaepernick. Did I? Colin Kaepernick. I can't believe I just said that. That's not what he said, y'all. Don't go around telling people he said that, because that's not what he said. He said, I should not call Colin Kaepernick's race into question during this morning's radio show. It was a mistake, and I apologize. He said this August 30th. Yeah, he shouldn't have, but he did, so whatever. If you have any video topic suggestions, please feel free to text #Soncerae Fan 2678-856-3463. You can visit me at Soncerae.com. Make sure you follow me on all of my socials. You never know, might just get a follow back. Have vision and stay focused. Bye.